death trap when it was on the back of the truck. Totally. And the guy was like, yeah, man, I picked it up from a guy because I did some work for him, and he gave it to me. He quit riding it because he crashed it. It's like, yeah, I bet he did. A super narrow, top-heavy, 3-wheel fucking scooter that looks like if you just turn it too far or lean too hard, it's just going to lay over on its side. But he crashed it on the roof. He rolled this motherfucker over. Anyway, the things like that we end up with, yes, decent for parts, because whenever I put the little Italian scooter, I put it back together. It has the same GY6 motor, and I'll be darned, man, if it had the wrong valve cover on it. So then, bam, there's another $20 or $30 for a fucking valve cover. And I get a. Hold on, guys. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. No shit, limousine just pulled up outside, so I had to go talk to that neighbor for a moment just to. Hey, you never know. We may be looking for a mini bike. He may be looking for this crazy moped. And it reminded me. I was like, hey man, you're not looking for a moped, are you? I don't know why. I said, well. Reminded me of one that I forgot was even back there in the shop. Oh, goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The point that I was trying to make about bringing you, always we're on the advance, and we want to encourage you to ride, to be safe, to wear your helmet, but mainly to do what you love to do every single day. And whenever I did not have, and still do not have, I get so fucking frustrated about screwdrivers. Let me just write this down. Screwdrivers. We get to a point to where, okay, I'm like, my bedroom is only halfway painted from the flood, and I'm like, I'm gonna put a pause to this. I've got a bed now. That's a blessing. And build some little power toys back there in the zombie shed, so that we can, right, turn 4 little power toys into 6. Turn 4 power toys into 1 big V-twin. Something like that. And we're continuing to advance, if the good Lord continues to let us advance like that, we cannot complain. I'm very, very grateful. However, it can be a little bit frustrating. I got a beautiful, I say beautiful, it has the patina of a 1986 Yamaha PW50. Little dirt bike that, after looking at it and working on it and studying it a little bit, it's a pretty interesting little machine, built to last. Nothing like any of the things that are built nowadays. Nothing like it. Because it's a little chunk. It's got some weight to it. It has steel wheels. It does not have spokes. It has steel wheels. And when I first looked at it, the gentleman that brought it to me, and I appreciate him bringing it to me. He had it in the back of his truck, and we were looking at it, and it was it wouldn't roll, simply because it hadn't moved in so long. And I told him, don't try to force anything. Let me take it apart. Because a lot of times something like it's specifically been sitting in someone's garage. The kid outgrew it. And the point is, we put we did a little check to it to make sure that it had compression, to make sure that it still had good oil in the crankcase. We removed the carburetor and realized that it definitely needed to be replaced. So we just put new carburetor, a new choke cable, new throttle cable, all new insides to the car. Brand new carburetor in general. And it's fresh. Little things like I did not take the petcock off, and it's a frame-mounted petcock, and ultrasonically clean it. And I knew that little things like that will bite you in the ass, guys. You know what I mean? Even if you can like blow through it or whatever, it's a brand new carburetor. You know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Actually, I before I put gas through to that little guy, there are a couple of things because it's a two-stroke. I went ahead and mixed the fuel in the fuel tank, and whenever I put the new line on the oiler that actually brings the two-cycle oil into the carb. Another thing too, it's not a good idea to use 5-7-year-old oil that was in that bottle, so we emptied it out and put some fresh two-cycle oil. It's a very cool little machine. The Kickstarter is on the left. It's shaft driven. It's got a center stand rather than a kickstand. And it's amazing. It's designed to come with training wheels, and then they can be taken off. And it's also designed, I thought about it, the Kickstarter's on the left-hand side, and it's completely automatic, no gears. And I thought, I bet you the reason the Kickstarter's on the left is so that an adult can stand next to it and crank it up easily. If you think about it, it's easier to do that. Normally, whenever I kickstart one of those little bikes anyway, I'd use my hand. And definitely, I've got a little list of things that I need to pick up from the tool house. It's not happening, man. My pockets are inside out right now because I've got to sell. Now I've got to sell some stuff. As far as these little toys, they need to go. And they always go, but we're not talking about thousands of dollars. We're talking about a couple $100 here and there that we're trying to turn into a few $100. But definitely have always had an incredible talent to turn a few dollars into a few hundred and there and so on. Gloves, mechanics gloves, man, I definitely need to get a good pair of those guys. And there's some called Hardy. I don't know if you've ever used Hardy brand, but I've got a coupon for some Hardy mechanics gloves. We got to pick up a couple pair of those because I had to get back into the studio, man. Look, I had some motherfucking vampire nails that were covered under grease all underneath them. I had I had to trim the nails. I had to do a little manicure. My fucking hands are all carved up. Start pulling engines apart. These faces of all of these, where all the gaskets go and shit that you're scraping are razor sharp. Even you're using a plastic scraper, but the edge that you're scraping, your hand moves a little bit, then you lose skin to the knuckle. And from working on machine tools, motorcycles and stuff like that, I look at my hands and I'm blessed that I can move them because they look like the only thing worse than my hands, right, that I can compare what they look like nowadays is they look like probably the earlier stages of what Lorenzo White, whenever I used to sell cars, and I sold cars with Bobby the Deacon Jones, who was a former Houston Oiler. And when we still had, this was in '94, when we still had the Houston Oilers, and I worked at Russell and Smith Ford, which was directly across from, which was actually just right down the road, like the next exit, the Buffalo Speedway Main Street exit, and let's see, the Astrodome was Kirby. Anyway, so I worked there, and Lorenzo White would come in. Lorenzo White, and that dude, he was huge, the nicest guy you would ever meet. But what really, what I remember about him are his forearms and his knees. His forearms and his knees and his shins looked like he had been through fucking battle. Jack, I'm telling you, you could tell where he had several times had stitches and just fucking, it was bad. It was bad. And I thought, damn, I didn't realize, that football, even playing football in junior high and stuff, you get beat the fuck up. Remember a kid getting knocked the fuck out and them telling me to run to the high school as fast as I could and get our trainer, our nurse, or whatever. I'm like, fuck, y'all need to call an ambulance, man. Remember I did. We were over there training, and I fucking ran as fast as I could. Oh, but yeah, frustrating, man. Put the little Pee Wee 50, I put the new carb on it, and we get a brand new carburetor, okay? And I'm like, do I take the bowl off and double check it? And I remember once that a kid brought me his four-wheeler, and it wouldn't run. He said, it's a brand new carb. And the jets were laying in the bowl. So he didn't take the bowl off, and the jets were laying in the bowl. I was like, should I take the bowl off of this? And I'm like, nah, I know the guys that it came from. It's brand new. It's ready to rock. And so I put it on there. Now I'm like, then the fucking thing wouldn't crank up. I'm like, okay, we have compression. We have fuel not actually getting to the spark plug. We've got a brand new carburetor. We have issues. We've got to take that sucker back off now. But we thought that we would get on the air and talk about it a little bit because the weather's not great today. And I do. Now I've got the shed's got little moto toys stacked in it, and it's kind of dark whenever the clouds are out like this. But it's always sunny at Robcast Radio, baby. So we had to get on the interwebs, on the airwaves, and let you all know that we really appreciate you tuning in. And fucking go out there and feed your bike some speed today, man, if it needs it. Because I can't. I mean, I don't have that thing inside my head that tells me, don't just open this motherfucker up every once in a while. And I guess if the cop pulled me over, I would be like, dude, I had to open this thing up real quick just to blow all the bugs out of it. Don't you do that to your car once in a while? Nah, that wouldn't work. And I know better. But definitely, my minimum requirement is normally, I don't have boots, but I've got some decent shoes. But definitely jeans, some sort of a fucking jacket with some protection between you and the road, and a helmet. Always, always, always look out. Cages, they do not see you. So yeah, if the weather looks permitting, and I've got also fucking that's this Venice scooter, and it's supposed to go like 70. It's got bigger tires on it. It's a little street moped. And that's normally not what we be building, but we be building whatever be paying the billings. You hear me? Billings, the bills. Ugh, I don't want to think about that shit right this minute. But so yeah, the weather has to be permitting. I don't know, it doesn't have to be. I'll put a tarp up over something and put it together if I have to. I got somebody with deep pockets and they're coming to buy something, it's going to be ready to rock. But another thing that I try to do is go over it and like, if it was, my rule of thumb whenever I was a technician and whenever I was a service manager was to treat every motorcycle like it was yours or something that you and your wife were going to get on or something that your old lady was going to drive. Your significant other, okay, is going to ride. If you're one of the ladies listening out here, then maybe it's something that the old zombie's going to be putting himself on. And what people don't understand, man, when you hit the road going over, people die over 5 miles an hour. That's what you don't get. Your head hits something at 5 miles an hour. If it's a motherfucking concrete barrier, you're gone. Maybe you got a super hard head. I don't know. But, I don't know. It's just one of those things. One of those pet peeves. We will always encourage you to wear your helmet. A good one. Fuck it, man. If you got a set of Viking horns, throw those bitches on or leather helmet. Anything's better than nothing, right? But in trying to get some of these things going, then this other thing, man. This freaking Italian scooter. Like I say, I just kind of, when I take the engine apart, I just throw it in a box. And when I get all the new engine in, upper, piston, cylinder, wrist pin, circlips, gaskets, cylinder head with new valves and valve springs. I'll fucking, I get this fucking piston onto the connecting rod, and I get the cylinder stabbed on it, and then